Hello students, welcome. Today we are going to study the first chapter of the new book which we are going to study, the second book or the supplementary book of class 9. The name of the book is Moments and this is the first chapter of it. Let's get started. The Lost Child. Now when we hear the name The Lost Child, it reminds us of a drama where a child is lost and he is later on found. Okay, let us see what the story is all about. A child goes to a fair with his parents. He is happy and excited and wants the sweets and toys displayed there, but his parents don't buy them for him. Why then does he refuse when someone else offers to him? So when he wants the toys and sweets from his parents, their parents do not buy him, but someone else tries to offer that, okay, will I buy it for you? But the child does not want from the stranger. Why? Let us see. It was the festival of spring. From the wintry shades of narrow lanes and alleys emerged a gaily clad humanity. Some walked, some rode on horses, others sat, being carried in bamboo and bullock carts. So it was the festival of spring, and that time lots of people were coming to the fair. Some were walking and coming, some were riding on horses and coming, some were being carried in bamboo and bullock carts. One little boy who was running between his father's legs, brimming over with life and laughter. So this child was full of life and laughter. He was totally excited, totally enjoyed. He was so careless enough to see everything. He was totally excited to see all the things of the fair. Come, child, come, called his parents as he lagged behind, fascinated by the toys in the shops that lined way. So he was attracted by the toys which were kept in the shops, and he was lagging behind. He was walking very slowly. He hurried towards his parent, his feet obedient to their call. So this boy was very obedient towards the parents' call. When the parents called, he went back to his parents. But his eyes still lingering on receding toys. His eyes were not removing from here and there. His eyes were fixed on the toys. As he came to where they had stopped to wait for him, he could not suppress the desire of his heart, even though he well knew the old cold stare of refusal. So his eyes were totally fixed on the toys, but he really wanted the toys, but he knew that his parents will not afford to buy for him. He knew that his father will give him the cold stare of refusal. His father will look at him with refusal and he will not buy the toy for him. I want that toy, he pleaded, he requested. His father looked at him red-eyed in a familiar tyrant's way. His father looked quite angrily, and his father did not buy the toy for him. His mother, melted by the free spirit of the day, was tender and giving him her finger to hold. Look, child, what is before you? So her mother was in a good mood that day and she did not scold her. And what happened? She is telling that, see what is before you, see the nature of beauty's nature. It was a flowering mustard field, pale like melting gold, as it swept across miles and miles of even land. So there were lots of mustard crop fields which was totally full of yellow flowers, and it was looking very beautiful. A group of dragonflies were bustling about on their gaudy purple wings, intercepting the flight of lone black bee or butterfly in search of sweetness from the flowers. So lots of butterflies, lots of dragonflies, lots of black bee, they were all searching for different flowers and taking nectar, taking juice, sweet juice from the flowers. The child was following them in the air with his gaze till one of them would still its wings and rest, and he would try to catch it. The boy was trying to catch the dragonflies, but it would go fluttering, flapping up into the air when he had almost caught in his hands. Then his mother gave a cautionary call, come child, come on the footpath. So he was totally lost in playing with the dragonflies, trying to catch it. Then that time only mother gave a cautionary call, warning that, okay, come boy, come, stop playing. He ran towards his parents gaily and walked abreast of them for a while, being however soon left behind, attracted by the little insects and worms along the footpath that were teeming out from their hiding places to enjoy the sunshine. So this boy was obedient, so he was walking with his parents, but again he was distracted by some insects which were coming out from the soil to take sunshine after the rainy day. Again, parents were saying, "Come, child, come." His parents called from the shade of a grove where they had seated themselves on the edge of a well. He ran towards them. So their parents were taking rest under a tree, and they were calling him. And then the boy ran towards their parents. A shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered the grove, and forgetting his parents, he began to gather the raining petals in his hand. So, as soon as he went near the tree, lots of flowers fell from the trees, and he was again distracted. He was again lost. His attention was gone, and he was busy looking at the flower petals in his hand. And then he heard the cooing of doves and ran towards his parents, shouting, the dove, the raining petals dropped from his forgotten hands." So, now, after looking at the petals in his hands, now he started to look at the dove which was running around. Now, see how easily he is getting distracted by different kinds of things. "Come, child, come," they called they called to the child, who had now gone running in wild capers round the banyan tree, and gathering him up, they took to the narrow winding footpath which led to the fair through the mustard fields. As they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths full of throngs converging to the whirlpool of the fair, and felt at once repelled and fascinated by the confusion of the world as he was entering. So what happened now? That after all these things, taking, resting and going, they all entered to the fair, and that fair was full of throngs of people, totally crowded. A sweet meat means a sweet shop. Sweet seller was hawking and shouting, "Gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi, jalebi" at the corner of the entrance, and crowd pressed round his counter at the foot of an architecture of many colored sweets. Decorated with leaves of silver and gold, the barfi stared open-eyed, and his mouth watered for the barfi that was his favorite, and Ives' favorite sweet. So lots of sweets were kept, and it was a design is very well arranged like pyramids and kept, and it was having decorations of silver and gold. The child was looking at the barfi because it was his favorite, and he said, "I want that barfi," he slowly said. But he very well knew that his request would not be answered by his parents, because the parents would say that, "No, don't take the sweets," because the parents would say that you are greedy, you want sweets. So without waiting for an answer, he moved on. So this boy was so intelligent or sensible enough that he is thinking that, okay, my father will give some kind of excuse, so he did not want to buy the sweet. A flower seller hawked a garland of gulmohar, a garland of gulmohar. The child seemed irresistibly drawn. He went towards the basket where the flowers lay heaped, and half murmured, "I want that garland." So again he said slowly, "I really want that garland," but he knew that his parents would refuse to buy him those flowers because they would say that they were so cheap. So without waiting for an answer, he moved on. So he thought that his parents will give an excuse that these flowers are very cheap quality, don't buy. So he did not wait. He just simply left. He did not buy that flowers. A man stood holding a pole with yellow, red, green and purple balloons flying from it. The child was simply carried away by the rainbow glory of their silken colors, and he was filled with an overwhelming desire to possess them all. But he well knew his parents would never buy him the balloons, because they would say he was too old to play with such toys. So he walked on further. Now this time he wanted balloons, but he did not ask, because his parents will give an excuse. He will give a reason that, okay, you are now grown up, you are not a child to play with balloons. A snake charmer stood playing a flute to a snake which coiled itself in a basket, its head raised in a graceful bend like the neck of a swan, while the music stole into its invisible ears like the gentle rippling of an invisible waterfall. The child went towards the snake charmer, but knowing the parents had forbidden him to hear such coarse means bad quality music as the snake charmer played, he proceeded forward. So what happened? He saw a snake charmer playing flute. He wanted to listen to the music and see the snake dancing, but then he remembered that his parents have forbidden. His parents have told that do not listen to such bad quality music. So he totally went away. There was a roundabout in full swing. There was a roundabout. Roundabout means a kind of jhula, where people sit there and go round and round. It's also called merry-go-round. Men, women and children, carried away in whirling motion, shrieked and cried with dizzy laughter. The child watched them intently, and then he made a bold request. I want to go on that roundabout. Please, father, mother. So when he saw the roundabout, he could not resist, he could not stop himself, and he really wanted to go on it because he saw the people laughing and shouting with laughter. And he made a bold request. He did not say silently, he made a very bold request that I want to go on the roundabout, please, father and mother. There was no reply. He turned to look to his parents. They were not there. Ahead of him, he turned to look on either side. They were not there. He looked behind. There was no sign of them. So, when he made a bold request, there was no sign of his parents. Nobody was there. So let us leave it till here. We will continue the chapter in the next part of it, and you can understand how emotional the story is going on. The child really wants a lot of things, but his parents cannot afford it. But now when he made a request, his parents was not there. Okay, we'll continue in the next chapter, next video.